Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Thursday night's program. We are just awaiting Mrs. Jessica Puente Bradshaw to tune in. Make sure we're on the line here. Yep. Welcome, everyone. Miss Puente is having a small technical issue. Should be cleared up in just a minute here. Meanwhile, in case you're wondering, we are having a 10:30 show tonight. For those of you who are interested and are going to be up late, we look forward to seeing you at 10:30. And it will be Bam and myself as well. Excuse me if I don't sound usual tonight. Been a long travel, a couple days of travel, and I'm still a bit tired. I think it's starting to get to me physically just a little bit. Got quite the topics tonight. One main topic. Should be quite interesting. For those of you who don't know who Milli Vanilli was, I'm sure you've looked it up by now. And if you were wondering, we are waiting Mrs. Jessica Puente Bradshaw. She's having a bit of a technical difficulty right now. Yeah, I apologize about the 7 p.m. start. It's kind of a weird early start. I know. Totally get it. Hey, just to make some small talk real quick. Have you guys seen the new Lightning, the F-150 electric? The electric truck. Have you seen this thing? Let me pull it up here. Yeah, so I think the base model will be like $39,000, which is really, really unbelievable. Hi, Hilda. Welcome to tonight. Oh, Scott, how are you, sir? Bam will be with us tonight at 10:30. Right now, I am awaiting Jessica Puente Bradshaw. She's having some little minor technical difficulty. She'll be up here in just a few minutes. Yeah, so it's the F-150. I mean, base model, and I got to have to see power-wise what the base model is like. But we're talking not even 40,000, just under a hair under 40,000. Now, if you add all the toys and all the bells and all the whistles, you can easily get up to $90,000. So yeah, that's quite a bit of options there. Oh, somebody's dropping in just to say hello. Hey.
Hello.
Just saying hello, buddy. Got a few minutes.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Just walked in the damn door.
Yeah, I'm just Jessica's having a little bit of technical difficulty, so I thought to kill some time here, and I said, hey, let me get Bam over here. Everybody's asking.
Technical difficulties. Gotta love them.
Where's Bam? They said.
I see that. I see Oscar's going, no Bam today. Oscar, I'm here. What's going on there, G?
We'll have Bam a little bit later.
I'll be back at 10:30.
That's right, 10:30. What's up, Richard? How you doing, bud? So,
We're
talking about this.
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Right now, I was talking about the F-150 Lightning, the electric Ford, the electric F-150.
Yeah, I hear they're having issues with that.
Already?
Yeah, evidently they're having battery issues.
That's a bummer because the price is right. I think it's. I just told everybody the base model is at $39,000.
Well, that's
not.
I
wondered.
Bad.
Oh, it's not. I just wonder if base model, since they're trying to conserve on battery power, if the windows are going to be the manual powered instead of.
Well, and it's probably not going to have air conditioning. I mean, it's going to be base models like back in the 70s and 80s when you bought a car. Base model, your window, your AC to at 55.
No radio.
You had an AM FM radio, that was it. No cassette, no CD, no power windows. You're lucky you even got a damn steering wheel in the base package.
Yeah.
I mean, basic was basic back then. I mean, the people out there know. I mean, they're our age. They know. These kids today, they have no fucking clue.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I don't know. I don't know if the electric car scene was ready to go pickup truck where people are going to expect power. But if it's like even your cell phone, if you don't use your phone and it's on standby all day, it's going to last for 3 days. But the minute you start using an app, making a phone call, playing a game, watching videos, now your battery consumption is going to get eaten up quick. So I wonder if you try to start to tow a boat or tow a little trailer, get out of some mud, what's going to happen to the battery then?
It's going to get sucked up real quick. You're going to get stuck. And then they're trying to make semis electric. Huh.
Richard says, thank God for Benjamin Franklin. Well, for the most part, absolutely.
But, I mean, can you see it? Can you see us now? We're all going to be out there like Back to the Future with wires hanging all over the fucking place and this big old long hook coming up the back of our ass waiting for a lightning storm.
Just like Back to the Future. Yeah, I don't know. Remember the Jetsons? The guy would pull out a briefcase and his car would pop out of the briefcase.
I can't wait for that day to fucking come.
I don't think that'll ever happen like that. That's a bit too out there. But all those modern appliances would have been very nice.
But I'm Jetson Mobile.
That color is so vivid on camera. The blue? Nice. Yeah, you know what? I started Nadia, I started rebuilding the wardrobe, trying to get rid of all my blacks and grays. I have a lot of blacks and grays.
Why were
dark
you
colors?
Depressed?
No, not really. I just black and gray goes with almost every single thing on the planet.
Well, guess what?
So, I
have a doctor's appointment for my eyeballs next week.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Hopefully get new goddamn glasses so I can see.
All right. All righty. I have a guest awaiting in backstage. Bam, thanks for hanging out for a few minutes. We'll see you back tonight at 10:30.
Yeah, I'll be back at 10:30 if I'm still alive.
Yeah, you'll be fine. All right, buddy. We'll see you then.
Later.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to get underway here. I'll give her another few seconds while we go to our intro. And let's get this thing going. And there she is. How are you?
Hey Manny, how's it going? Thank you. Sorry for the delay. I'm at 7%, but I'm plugged in.
No, that's perfectly fine. I hear everybody else just as loud or louder than you do. You got people in the room there?
Really? It's too loud. It'll quiet down in a second.
Yeah.
If not, I can move areas.
That's all right. That's okay.
I'll try to travel. Hold on.
Well, it's okay now.
Oh, is it better now?
Oh, yeah.
Just one person who was too loud?
Oh, yeah. It was loud.
Okay. Let's see. How's this?
Giving us a tour of the place. That's right.
Oh, yeah. I know. Really? Give you a tour.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Just find your spot. That's fine.
Okay. Now we're having a team meeting, and so over here is perfect. And so, okay, yeah. Don't crash. Okay. All right, I'm here.
Awesome. How are you doing?
Good, doing good. Just staying busy with the campaign and all of that. So I cannot complain. Thank you for having me on the show. Apologies to everybody for the wait.
Oh, that's okay. Just a few minutes. Things happen. I had a bit of a tech issue, and of course, I decided to get to set up right at the last minute. So then I'm scrambling to get things done. I should have done earlier. I've had a bit of a couple days of travel, exhausting travel, so I wasn't at top speed yet today.
Right.
How are things going? What's going on since? How's your campaigning going since the announcing of the runoff?
The campaign's going great. I mean, everybody needs a little break, so we took a tiny break. But now we're, hitting it strong, just as anyone would expect. Once you get committed, you got to go for it. So, hey, Benny, Brother Tames. Hope he's doing well. Yeah. So it's just, it's just a different game, but because it's a runoff, where our concern is that because election day is the day before Father's Day. It's after school has already gotten out. People are going to want to go on vacation and rest and relax. We're expecting a low voter turnout just in general. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that has been a quite the topic since this race began, and something's got to be done with the voter turnout. I mean, getting people to vote.
Right.
Like I mentioned I had Mr. Roy Dos Santos here, and I said, I know you have all these task force, and that's fine and dandy, but I think a task force to get out to vote would be a very good one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and here's the thing. I don't think nobody needs a blessing from the city commission to start a task force. So anybody can really just kind of get up and start doing that. Hey, Chuck. So there's a lot of things that we can do in our community to join our community, maybe have our community work together. The question is, can we work together without, I guess, preconceived leanings or just general biases? Immediately, you'll have a task force, for example, that says, "Hey, I'm against politiqueras," right? And I don't think that that's something that should be happening in elections. Well, you contact those individuals, and when you tell them, "Hey, somebody's using politiqueras against me in my race, it's like, oh, that's okay. We don't really like you anyway. So, so you have that kind of situation. It's like, we're either here to have fair elections for everybody or not. And it's really unfortunate that sometimes people's personal biases get in the way. Personally for me, this is the city of Brownsville. To me, this has nothing to do with a Republican, a Democrat, Libertarian, a Green Party. Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, as a commissioner, my goal is to work for the people of my district, whatever leanings they are. And when the lights go off, or when we have a blackout, or when it freezes, or when our street floods, or when we don't have our garbage picked up from our front yard or our alley, whatever, that does not discriminate, against or for a party. Oh, well, you're a Democrat, so therefore we're not going to pick up your garbage. Oh, well, you're a Republican, so we're going to definitely make sure you have a blackout for 24 hours or 3 days. Everybody's affected. And so my belief system when it comes to any federal issues or state issues have nothing to do with the issues that we have here in the city. Like I said, because it rains and shines on everyone equally, regardless of party at the end of the day when it comes to the city.
Yeah, I think Carlos Santana said it slightly,
let's see what he said.
A little more crudish. He said, when it rains, everybody gets wet, the Pope and the prostitute.
Oh, there
but
there you
yes,
go.
Along those same lines.
That's not too crude. I was expecting no, yeah, that's absolutely right. So, when it comes to the city of Brownsville, I'm in it for Brownsville and the people of Brownsville. I'm not in it for the short people of Brownsville. I'm not trying to reference anyone, just kind of popped in my head. The short people, the tall people, the athletic people, the people who like to sit and watch movies. It's for everybody. Roads and potholes should not exist in a perfect city for anyone. Whether you're driving a luxury vehicle or a car from the 1990s.
Agreed. I think it's these repairs and resurfacing shouldn't be left to be done just before an election, because some people may be trying to look good coming up on election. So one question I wanted to ask you was, obviously the hot topic yesterday was the sentencing of Mrs. Sylvia Atkinson. What do you think of that sentence? Was justice done?
My understanding, and I'm not following it as closely as maybe other people are following it because I'm in the middle of something right now. But if this is all she gets, as far as the sentencing goes, then in my opinion, it's not enough. If this is all she gets, because there were multiple locations, many people, many years where there were some serious moral and ethical infractions. So I don't think that that's enough. Hey, Betty Rubble. Oh, I love that picture. So if that's all she gets, it's not enough. If there's more to come, and I think I heard it on Erasmo's show, they said that this was just one of the sentencings for one of these infractions. If that's the case, then let's see what happens further. I thought that, like I said, I'm not following it, but I think she was ordered to pay $35,000 restitution or something like that. I mean, $35,000, really? That's it? But okay.
Plus $100 per charge. So times 8, that's $800.
$800.
Yeah.
$35,800, right? I don't know. What do you think, Manny? To me, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, it's still prison time. It is federal. There's no get out early if you behave yourself.
Yeah.
And she certainly will. You would expect she would appeal. And even the appellate process for federal crimes is you're still in prison. You don't get to be out while you're appealing your case.
While you're appealing, right?
Yeah, and
that's so sad.
If I did hear on top of that, besides the 6, it turned out to be 6 years, 6.6 years. So 666 was actually
6.66666.
that number, right?
7.
And then I believe there's 3 years of supervised release after that.
Oh, wow.
Added to that.
Well, and the unfortunate thing is that we have, this has happened to us. And I know we're not the only city in the country that has had situations where people in positions of power have swindled the public or have swindled the people they're supposed to represent. It's unfortunate that it has to happen so often in Brownsville. And it's also unfortunate that as often as it's happening, it's not being addressed often enough.
Yeah.
The crimes are not being caught often enough. And so, hey, Hungry Hippo. So that's really a sad thing. And we can go ahead and we could keep digging in anyone's record. And of course, everyone is going to have something, right? I could say, oh, Manny, I dug into your record and you have a speeding ticket, or, sure, who doesn't have a speeding ticket in this day and age? I'm sure a lot of people say me, but that happens. I always question whenever there's some sort of a record, I question judgment. It's like, how are you how are you carrying on or carrying forth or expressing or demonstrating your judgment when it comes to what you get caught doing? And so that's something that I think a lot of us should definitely look at when we elect, re-elect, or even look at candidates. And the reason I say that is because in the case of Sylvia Atkinson, let's just say 6, 7, 8, whatever years, 9 years from now, she comes back and she could easily run for office again. How many people will remember? How many people that vote or new voters will even know that this went on before? It's happened. It has happened where people get caught doing something and they wait a while, come back, and then it's like, it's been short-term memory in most people's minds, and so it doesn't affect it, except for a few that remember, and they're like, I can't believe this is happening again.
Yeah, and I wonder if that is a scary thought. If she's not kept from returning to that kind of position, that she may very well decide to run again or insert herself in the system somehow, and there's not a thing we can do about it, except bring out the past, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then so kind of on those lines, don't make you expect everyone would be innocent until proven guilty, correct? And it's easy in the public court that there is. Everyone makes their assumptions or their opinions put out there well ahead of time, and sometimes these opinions tend to take a life of their own, and all of a sudden they try to become fact at some point. So do you have a problem? I know a lot of your followers have been putting things out there regarding your opponent, Roy Dos Santos, and it's funny. He's been on a few times. He's asked to come on. I've said, of course, yes, as I would with you or anyone else. And so having said that, I'm accused of, being on his side, but I'm really not. He's not in my district. I've known you for a while. I really like what you offer. I mean, both of you guys are really, man, this is going to be tough. I like both you guys. But for me, I just want to present the information and let everyone who is in your district, they can make the decision. So these things they keep throwing out there. Yes, he's got a DUI. It's yet to be determined, but they're already talking about, oh, he's going to be let free. He's going to be let go. And, the elite is going to take care of him and all this and that. And they've been throwing around. I looked at it. Then I asked him, I'm like, they say, do you have multiple DUIs? Do you have multiple DUIs? He said, nope, only been once. And this is the only one time. So do you question these things? I don't know how close you are with all of your fans or your supporters, but some of these things that they put out there are not 100% based in the truth. Were you aware of that, or
I was aware of it. I know of the one time, and here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing about supporters, is that there's obviously supporters who are hands-on in the campaign, and there's supporters who just happen to be supporters, and you may never have met them. I don't stop people from expressing their points of views about any candidate, because to me it's it's their right. It's their right to express themselves as the public, any which way. No one is above the public scrutiny, whether you're running or not, especially when you're running. And so to tell someone, hey, stop that or don't do that, that would be wrong. And so I will tell you, I had a meeting today with an individual, and it was a very, very energetic meeting. And that person was not criticizing, but just calling me to task about X, Y, or Z. And I went to that person and I said, hey, I said, what? And this and that and whatnot. And I said, that's the thing, is that the scrutiny is there, regardless of your network. The scrutiny is going to be there. So no, I get it. I mean, there's so much stuff said about me that is totally untrue and unrealistic and not even based on fact. But I don't know that I've ever gotten on Facebook or anything to fight it and dispute it, because at the end of the day, people are going to make their own decisions about somebody. And it's unfortunate that sometimes that this decision or at least judgment is a faulty judgment. Like I said, I know about Roy and his record. We could say that he hasn't been charged, but I can also read the record and say this is whatever alcohol level it was, and it's well beyond the limit, and that's all that. I mean, that's a fact. Now, whether the judge says it was wrong or it was right, or his lawyer has a good excuse to say it's because he was taking cough medicine, okay, at that point, it's like, oh, right. The cause was because of cough medicine and not because of alcohol, or beer, or whatever. So at that point, yeah, we can go ahead but if somebody says, well, Jessica, they shouldn't say that about him, it's like, it is what it is. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If my speeding ticket came out and they said, well, Jessica was speeding, and I said, well, judge hasn't said if I'm speeding yet. Well, I clearly, according to the police record, I was going 89. Yeah. So that's technically is speeding. Yeah, but I haven't been judged yet. Well, but you were still speeding, and until that happens, that record, kind of the police record, stands. And that's true. So I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of going around in circles, Manny. But the point is I don't typically stop people from saying what they want to say, because it is their right. And I'm sure that none of my opponents, whether it was ever, a John Cowan and a Dela Garza, even a Roy de los Santos, I'm sure they never bent over backwards, and probably will never in the future no opponent will ever bend over backwards on the behalf of their opponents. Rumor mill that is happening.
Sure.
Yeah. So Roy has a lot of a fan base that doesn't like me because they think that I'm such a person. I'm going to take people's voting rights away. Manny, you know me. That is not even a thought or an agenda item. Even if I could control the vote, it's not even an agenda item in my mind. Because one, I wouldn't have the power, but they sure are saying that. And so when Roy goes ahead, and I know we're picking on Roy, but Roy is my opponent. When Roy says, hey, everyone stop saying that about Jessica, because it's frankly not true, then I will go ahead and tell other people, maybe I'll tell people, you stop saying those things about Roy. So no, I mean, it's politics. It's what happens. And I think the last comment, did I miss something good?
I'll put that up here back in a second. Okay. And he's certainly not denying what happened.
Right.
He's only saying, hey, you know what? It'll play out. The George's going to do what he says. And obviously it's up to anybody's lawyer to try to get you off or get you as little as possible.
Right.
And it goes on a daily basis on this planet. First offenses, they go light on you and this and that. And all he's saying is, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to let the process go, and what happens. And, he will, he's not trying to hide that. He's just trying to say, well, I don't have multiple. I've only had the one, not multiple.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I think that at some point, the politics is a full contact sport, and so the question is, and I've been here. Like I said, I've already named some of my opponents, right? It's a full contact sport, and here's the thing: I can spend my whole campaign fighting something or denying something or going after these little fires, or I could just run a campaign. And so from my point of view, it's like, you know what, I get the shade from people that are supporting him. But I go on.
I bet that's going to
Just a
happen.
second.
Okay.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just give me just a second.
Okay. Richard, task forces are a nuisance. Their only use is to promote morbid or non-essential city matters. Let the commissioners take charge of city matters so long as it doesn't involve self-interest or corruption. And Betty Rubble, I don't think it is anywhere near enough time for what she did to our kids' money and educational means. As an employee, parent, and taxpayer, I'm very upset, but she is an example to others.
I agree.
20%. Plus, Betty says she lied, and as a public figure, that's something that stands out the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, the public trust on that. I mean, anybody on that board, and you would think on the city commission also, you know, there's got to be a trust there, and you would hope people trust you. And it's for something like this to happen. I mean, she just broke the trust on many levels. Right.
And that's the thing is we have a little bit of blame in that as the general public, right? Because too often as the general public, one, we don't vote. We have very low voter turnout. Two, we don't get informed. And three, when we do vote, in some cases uninformedly, we say, well, I voted for the person. I'm done. My job is done. Let them take care of it. And so that's wrong on our part. When it comes to the candidate, they're wrong because they don't maybe go out of their way. And it is difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's difficult even for me. You know, what are we doing to get information out while we're running? What are we doing once we get elected to make sure that information is disseminated to the general public so people know about it? Sometimes we don't do and I'll say we, as whether it's candidates or elected officials, don't do enough to get that information out to educate the public. And I think it's because, unfortunately, it's just easier to squirm out of any responsibility, any weight, any end of that weight, of the responsibility. And so let me give you an example. I watch the city commissions, like some people, not as religiously as others do, but I do watch and try to keep track of it, particularly when it comes to spending. And I noticed that sometimes different department directors might go up to the commission, even the city manager in some cases, to say this is what we're going to spend money on. And I'm sure that at some point the commission gets some sort of document that has all the details. And we could say, oh, well, that's on file and you can download the file. But we get details, or maybe they're privy to certain information that the public is not. Well, when they're getting the presentation as to what needs to be spent, sometimes it's appalling to me that a commissioner, it's like, okay, everybody, do I hear any yays? Are we done? Yeah, okay, yeah. Any seconds? Okay, motion passes, boom, done.
Yeah.
With no questioning. The questioning is not because as a commissioner, I'm like, oh, well, I don't want people to think I'm stupid. I don't want people to not know, people to think I didn't read the paperwork beforehand. No, commission, past, present, and future. The reason why you question is because the public deserves to have answers on record.
Right.
So if the guy says, hey, we're going to be buying socks for everybody in the city, maybe the public deserves to know on record, how many socks are we buying? What color are those socks? How long are those socks going to last on people's feet? Or are we going to have to buy these? Hey, David, are we going to have to buy these 6 months from now? All of that information may be on these documents that they got beforehand, but the public, us expecting the public to download that document and read it like we did as a commission, it's ludicrous. And so if we can get it out on record easily, then let's do that. But if we did that, then of course someone would clip it, put it on YouTube or put it on Facebook, and that may just be too incriminating if I don't do what I said I would on record. So it really, to me, that's really as a private citizen, it's really upsetting. We have language within these ordinances that is very complicated, and it is legal, lingo that where it has to be written a certain way, but there's no reason for a commission to not explain it on the record to the general public and say, hey, city manager, can you please explain that in everyday language so our voters or our Brownsvillians or our constituents can hear what exactly that it is that we're voting on.
Yeah, because a lot of times it seems like, well, they just said okay and everybody agreed. Well, it's not their money, it's just some pot of gold that they think Brownsville's got all this gigantic amount of money, and they just said okay, and okay. But yeah, the public's like, yeah, what happened? What exactly did happen?
What exactly
not really
did
sure.
we vote on?
Right.
And it's unfortunate because here's the thing. Let's just say if I just voted on it, Manny, and you look at me and say, well, Jessica just voted on it, she must know what we're talking about or what we're voting on. Maybe I don't. Maybe I really truly don't even know what we're voting on. But you will never know that unless I open my mouth and ask and say, hey, please explain it to us.
Yeah.
I don't know personally. I'm sure that the public doesn't know it. Maybe somebody does, but I don't. So please explain to me now. That's what we need to have in our commission. We need to have this level of respect for our citizens within, our city people, city folk, a level of respect that says, hey, you know what? I respect you enough to let you know what's going on.
Yep. How do you feel about another candidate said if he were elected to the commission that he would like to do some kind of podcast, whether it's the day after, the night of, or the next day. And he would say, well, this is what happened during the city meeting, the commissioner's meeting. This is what this means. This is what that means. Kind of have like a very informal Q&A thing. Is that something that would be possible? Obviously, if everyone could do it, that would be nice. But time consuming. I know.
I know that Roy made that announcement on your show. I think he was saying he was going to be your co-host. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be a co-host.
But no, I mean, that has never been beyond my scope, at least as far as goals go. As far as I know, could be wrong, I've been the only candidate that has come out publicly and said quarterly town hall meetings. Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, even if it's quarterly, yes.
Yeah, yes. Quarterly town hall minimum. Now, if we do one a month, if we start going from place to place, absolutely. Yes, Betty, you're absolutely right. No, people didn't have a clue on the propositions. So that's how I've said. 2 years ago when I ran, it was a different campaign. It was a different approach. Every campaign it's like baking a cake, but you always bake it a little bit differently. Depending on how much support one has. So the last campaign 2 years ago, I put a lot of videos out, and they're on my YouTube page, Jessica Puente Bradshaw on YouTube, and they're still there for anybody who wants to, where we literally went video by video, myself and my husband. He helped me out a ton on that, where we explain the budget, where we explain the city management and how that works. I mean, we just literally went through these steps because there is a population, los que hablan español, and even the ones that speak English, who don't understand the process or how the city municipal government works.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with that. I think it's important to have that information. It's important to have it quickly. But I think that, at least if I was going to approach it differently, I know that was Roy's idea. If I was going to approach it differently, I would add another aspect to that I think is even more important than giving the replay. I think that it's important that we actually address our public first and say there is going to be a meeting in which these things are going to be discussed. We're going to vote on this line item, which means potentially this much expenditure.
Yep.
And not the day before, not the night before. We're talking, I mean, this agenda, if we can get it as soon as possible, and let's just say a week, give me the agenda a week in advance so that I can put it out there, so that I can Facebook it, I can YouTube it, I can text it, and let people know what's happening. One, I will study it, I will share it with you. And then at that point, Manny, is where we empower our community to say, you know what? Jessica said that they're going to vote on this on Tuesday. Well, I'm going to be there. You know what? Get all your friends and family to be there for or against it. Because too many times, and I have been to city commission meetings where these things are going on, and there's like literally 2 people of the public sitting there. So then the city commission is like, well, I guess we'll just vote on it with no objection whatsoever. And there's a process. I realize there's a process of like, there's going to be public statements. Okay, now it's not open for the public statement. Now it's the voting. Now it's this and da, 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 da. How many of us know how that works? You know? So like I said, I would take it personally. I would take it a step further with Jessica Puente Bradshaw. You're not going to get the play-by-play after the fact. You're going to get the play-by-play before the fact, and then you'll get one after the fact. That way we know exactly our cause and our effect, not just this is the effect, period. Live with it.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. And the epitome of the word or the term transparency.
Exactly. You know, because now we know. I will say the city of Brownsville entered into a contract with a company that is going to be managing the airport parking lot. It was voted on. It was voted on immediately with one question from the commission, and that was a question from our mayor. And the question was, who was our second bid? But I won't get into all the details. Anyway, the point is that it was voted on. In my personal opinion, I don't think it was a good vote. We have a new airport, new terminal. That's right. But we're not. I mean, Manny, you work in airports. So are we an airport right now? And I get it. Maybe eventually in the future. But are we an airport right now that needs the kind of budget and expenditure where we are taking most of our parking revenue and giving it to a company to hire basically 3 people per day, but a total of 5 people.
Yeah.
5 people's salaries, and one of them being an administrator who is going to work 3 hours a day, Manny.
Basically, do we need a parking situation right now in the first place? You know, my question was, how long is the parking going to remain free and open while they finish up the terminal and all that stuff? And I was hoping it was going to be, I don't know, even up to 6 months maybe, just to welcome everybody. Don't worry about paid parking. It's going to be free 6 months or something like that. Why even hurry up to get somebody in there?
Why hurry up to get somebody on there? Why hurry up to get it? Why hurry up to get to honor or adopt a contract like we're somehow, I don't know, Houston Hobby parking lot?
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of traffic going through there. So to hire an administrator to watch over 2 people 3 hours a day, it makes absolutely no sense. The second contract, by the way, was more the words that they use, I can't remember the words they used, but it was something about, it was more technology driven, which implies to me that it was probably cameras and maybe like a ticketing thing where you put in the ticket and then you could pay with your credit card. It's a lot more electronic, where you don't need an attendant. And if that thing breaks down, guess what? Back up and go to the next booth while they fix this one, or this one is under repair. I've spoke to police officers who we pay as Brownsville residents. We pay to be at the airport for security. They were like, no, we don't need that kind of security at the airport because it's not that large of a parking lot, I should say, and it's not a huge parking lot either.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, good point on the parking lot issue. I mean, there are so many other issues to contend with while they're trying to open it and get run up to normal. You know, they still need to pave that area in the back where the airplanes would actually park, and that's they're working towards that, but that's a process in itself.
Yeah.
So you would think until we got up and running, call it, if you want to call it normal,
right?
That they would just not worry about the parking. So yeah, that's not a big issue right now. We don't have 10,000 cars going through there, every week.
No, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Something else I wanted to mention to you is it was asked a couple times over the last couple of weeks. And again, I'm not dumping you on a spot or anything like that. This is not a gotcha moment or anything.
But it's a gotcha moment.
But no, it's not.
But
no, it's really not. But some people, they've seen your husband in a lot of your videos and a lot of the things that you do. Some are wondering that, is this going to be a Jessica and her husband seat instead of just Jessica? And I was like, well, I don't think so. I think he's there supporting the campaign. But some brought up the concern: will he be part of your decision-making process?
Right. That's a good question. But my answer would be this: how many elected officials are married? At any, whether it's TSC, BISD, City Commission. I mean, I'd say at least half of them are married. Do we have that concern about them? Do we worry that John Cowan's wife is running the show behind the scenes? Do we worry that Jessica Tetro's husband is running the show behind the scenes? I mean, if that doesn't answer the question for for people, I don't know what will. I will tell you this: my husband is a very intelligent man, very intelligent. He works at a company, a world company, IBM. He works at IBM, and he manages people in different countries. He manages many different people, even people who speak Spanish, and I look to him for advice in lots of things that I do, personally, professionally, what have you. And there has been the occasion when I said, honey, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's his field, right? That's his field of expertise. And as a good and supportive husband, he does offer me help and mentorship and guidance and understanding at least some of the lingo. And so I think that that's a plus. But is he interested in being some sort of a puppet master running the show? He has no interest whatsoever. That is not what he doesn't enjoy that. As a matter of fact, people have approached him to run for office in the city of Brownsville, and he's like, like that is not what he wants, because he is a person who values their privacy. He does not appreciate the way politicians are attacked in the blogs. He's never appreciated that. He doesn't appreciate when they do it to me. He doesn't appreciate when they've gone after my children. He doesn't appreciate that another candidate is coming and taking a picture in front of a sign, and it's kind of just enough to show my house there, as a way to just kind of taunt. He doesn't appreciate that either. So no, he has no interest whatsoever. And even more so the fact that this is not a paid position. I mean, it's like, really? He's got all these other things to take care of, and now he's going to do something else on top of that? No, he loves his wife. He doesn't love her that much.
Oh, I'm sure he would be right there behind you.
Oh, he would. He's totally supportive. Like I said, but supportive like Art Khalifa, who supports Jessica Tetro. I don't know John Cowan's wife, but I'm sure she supports him. And there's all kinds of people that are in different positions of power. And none of whom could do what they do if they did not have the support of their spouse, if they have a spouse.
I guess you would hope that there would be a significant other, so that, some of these decisions or things that come up are difficult, and it's good to bounce something off someone that you trust versus going out somewhere talking to the public or somebody, just a random person, and then say, hey, Jessica contacted me. She said she's not sure about this. Right. But yeah, I would imagine it is good to have a confidant. And
and you know what? And I'll tell you what, politics it's a funny little game, because when you get into politics, and I nobody in particular, I'm just going to say, sometimes people change, and people will say, oh, well, you know what, that person used to be this way, and then they got into politics, and look at how they are now. And I think that the real beauty of having a spouse, or having have that significant other who is there with you every step of the way, is a really good way of staying grounded, because now you still have to go home to that person who loves you and cares for you and is not embarrassed or shy to tell you, hey, Jessica, you know what? Don't talk to me like that. You're not talking in your city commission meeting with me. Or to say, hey, you got kids here at home, or you've got chores here at the house that you need to duties you need to meet. When you don't have that significant other holding your hand, then you're free. You're free to roam in the circles and be part of these organizations and these groups and these decisions, and there's no one there to check you. And so I really appreciate the fact that there have been times where my husband has literally checked me at the door and said,
Yeah,
even as a teacher, sometimes I would have really rough days, and I would come home and I'd be like, and he'd be like, you are not in your classroom anymore. Like, oh, okay, all right, fine. Yeah.
So another issue, again, this is something there were, it seemed to be many people concerned when it comes to Mr. De Los Santos, a lot of the issues were LGBTQ issues. Some had accused him of wanting to put the flag up there, with under the American flag or with all the other flags at City Hall. And what is your stance on putting flags up of any kind, not just LGBTQ? But some would say, well, if you put the LGBTQ flag, well, then you better be okay putting the Blue Lives Matter, the blue line flag.
Right.
And then you bow to one, you have to bow to all of them, right?
Right. No, and I do think that if you bow to one, you'll have to bow to all of them. Maybe not today and maybe not tomorrow, but you will set a precedent for the future. And that future could be 6 months from now, it could be 6 years from now, it could be 60 years from now. But there'll always be a precedent. So, and I've heard his argument about how he believes that there is that we can create, there's a judgment call that can be made as to say, at what point is now this flag not acceptable? I believe he said that the equality flag was to represent inclusivity. And so therefore a Blue Lives Matters flag or Blue Lives Matter flags is also about inclusivity. So we just put it. A BLM flag is about inclusivity. So let's put it. And then I don't know if it was at Osmo or maybe, I don't know if it was even on your show or which one. He said, well, but we won't put the communist flag. Well, why not? That's being inclusive to people who believe in a form of government called communism. Well, do we really want to be playing that game with every flag? The pink bunny flag, the white elephant flag. I mean, what point do we? So in order to avoid that, I'd say no. And Erasmo had said it before. He said, Brownsville flag, Texas flag, United States flag. Because and those flags are inclusive of everyone in that community. No one ever says the Brownsville flag or the Texas flag or the United States flag only represents heterosexual married couples. No, it's everybody. So let's just be happy with the fact that we're all in this great nation, this great state, and this great city, and let's all get along. Now, you want to fly the flag at your front porch, you want to fly it at a private lot where you just decide I'm going to put my flag here because it's my property. Absolutely, go for it. But not for state buildings, because then again, you set a precedent, and then you're always playing that judgment call. And I guarantee you, one day, even your judgment isn't even going to know how to judge that one, whatever that is.
Yeah, I wondered when the LGBTQ task force came about, and this is my opinion still to right now, to this day, to this minute, to the second, is that I didn't. Honestly, unless I'm blind to this or ignorant to it, I didn't see what the problem was against LGBTQ. I didn't know that it was such a rampant situation, like discrimination against them or and any issues like that. I had not heard of that going around like crazy in the city. I didn't know it was a thing. I don't know that it is a thing still.
Right. I don't know. I don't know that it is a thing or that it was a thing or that it will be a thing. I don't know. I honestly don't have an opinion on what caused it. I know that we have federal and state laws that protect certain classes, for very good reason. But I like I said, like you said, I didn't know that it was an issue until it became an issue. I do know that there are national organizations, movements of all kinds, at both spectrums, from one side to the other. And my concern is that when we start, seeking the support of these movements, or we start bringing those movements locally, then you potentially are opening yourself up to ideas and movements that are probably not indicative or happening in your area. Not saying that it's not happening at all. It's probably just not an issue. And we could always argue and say, well, before it becomes an issue, let's take care of this. Yeah, okay, sure. But now we have to weigh that future potential issue. And I'll give an example, because I don't like to just say, I don't want people to say, oh, well, that's just what Jessica thinks. No. when we had the bag ban, the plastic bag ban, I was not for the bag ban. Now, don't get me wrong. I love that we really did clean up Brownsville. I love it. I love that there weren't bags flying everywhere. But I was not for the bag ban. What I would have gone for was to say, hey, you know what? Let's make Brownsville a green community in a way that we can all respect, and we're being great about, like we're being real good about it, responsible about it. And let's just encourage our businesses to slowly transition to paper sacks like we had in the 80s and 70s. Nostalgia. I would have encouraged that. However, no, we went with the bag ban. I looked for the wording of the ordinance with the bag ban. I looked and I looked, and I ran queries and searches on the internet, and that bag ban, word for word, had been implemented, was being implemented at the time in Corpus Christi via East Coast or West Coast, San Francisco Bay Area. So literally it was a cut and paste.
Yeah.
That was making its way down from different parts of the country, not just Brownsville. I was really disturbed by that because I thought, wow, we are letting somebody or something or an organization on the West Coast who is now out on a mission to come into our city and tell us how to do something. Now, if they have an idea and want to share it with us, give me the ideas and then we'll come up with something good for us. But to say we're going to do exactly what you do, no, I didn't agree with that. And then, of course, then we had, the governor came up and went head to head and said, you either stop this or you're going to get sued, which means that the taxpayers would have to pay for court costs,
Yep.
all because somebody thought it was a good idea. No, I said, we could have come up with something better. We could have said, hey, let's encourage our businesses. Do you know what they do in California? Manny, I know you travel everywhere. In California, what do? They charge you when you go buy something like this at the store. And, we've all seen, 5 cents or right here's California CRV, 10 cents.
Yep.
Right? What does this mean? If you don't know what this means, this is what this means, everybody. It means that when I go to H-E-B or Albertsons or Smith's or whatever in California, and I buy this bottle of water, this bottle costs $1 plus 10-cent tax, plus the 10 cents. It literally gets rung up. When I return this bottle to the recycling center, guess what I get back?
10 cents.
My 10 cents. It's a positive reinforcement. It's the same with the paper sacks. If you use a paper sack, they charge you like 5 cents extra. Maybe it's 10 cents now with inflation. But when you return that bag or that recycling, they actually give you money for recycling. They don't just say dump it and go away. They actually give money to you. So I'm telling you, in California, people are picking these things up because it's money. They're picking up plastic bags and cardboard because it's money. And so why can't we do that in Brownsville? We could just do something in the city where we encourage that.
So having said that, and in case you haven't noticed the difference, as soon as that ban was cut, guess what? There's bags flying all over the place all of a sudden again. Would you be up for some type of ban on plastic bags again?
I wouldn't call it a ban. I was like I said, I would encourage. See, one of the things that I think Brownsville is lacking in, or at least the vision, is that we have not identified ourselves. And what does this mean? It's like, excuse me, I don't know how you were in high school, Manny, but when I was in high school, my identity was I was a headbanger rocker, right? I had my long hair, longer than this. I wore my black band t-shirts. I wore my Doc Martens, and I wore my jeans or my long shorts like I was in grunge time.
I'll see pictures or it didn't happen. That's what I say.
Oh, trust me, I will put pictures one day. No, so I mean it's there. Now you're challenging me, Manny. So yeah, I will send you some pictures. You can put them up. So that was my image. Hey, Marisa. So that was my identity. What is Brownsville's identity? Can anyone please tell us what that is? Is it the tourism capital of the world? Is it the resaca capital of the world? Is it birding? Is it food? Is it gastronomy? Is it SpaceX? Is industry? Is it education? Like we're like top in our schools. So what is the image? I'd say that Brownsville is a beautiful city that has perfect weather, practically perfect weather, and we are an outdoor community. Resacas, birds, beaches, sun, grass, plants, flora and fauna. Well, you go to Costa Rica, that's their image. It's pura vida. Well, in Costa Rica, they say, you know what? Because we are a very outdoorsy place, guess what? When we build our decks, we build them out of recycled plastic boards. We use we recycle, we grow plants, we give out natural juices that, we don't even do caffeinate. Everything is natural at restaurants. So if Brownsville is a place that loves nature and all that, then let's do let's do paper sacks, because we love our environment and we want to be good stewards of it. And over time, that image of the city will translate into more and more businesses, because then people will appreciate and say, do you have, people will start getting used to saying, do you have paper sacks? Do you have paper sacks? And where can I recycle my paper sacks? But it's a culture that we have to cultivate. And it seems that every time we get a new commission in, or a new commissioner, or a new mayor, whatever, it's like we're flip-flopping and we're just everywhere.
The rules change.
It changes all over the map. What is the goal of Brownsville? My opinion, it's let's take what we're good at, our zoos, our resacas, our weather, our birding. We were in a movie, for goodness sakes, about birding. Let's take all of that and turn that into something we can market and send out and say, hey, come on down. How often, when's the last time we marketed to our winter Texans from up north?
Yeah, this is true. Speaking on that, on those paper sacks, or the ban, if you want to call it a ban, just for, I started becoming used to, having these reusable bags
right
in the trunk. And sometimes I'd forget, I forgot it. Guess what? I'm buying another one for 50 cents.
Right.
My pantry here, I got about 5,000 of those reusable bags in my pantry, stuffed in a bunch of little bags. But after a point, it just became, it wasn't a problem that we didn't have the plastic bag. And if I really wanted, if we had like a lot of groceries, fine, I'll pay the $1 and I'll get a bunch of plastic bags. And we recycle those, we use them for other things, garbage and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it became, I don't know, I think we were going in a good place with that.
Yeah.
We
were, and we could have we could have kept it going. We could have said, hey, you know what, we can't do that. Here's the thing, Manny. It wasn't a bag ban, because a ban implies you cannot get that bag no matter what.
Right. Not even for $1 or nothing.
Not $1,
not available.
Yeah. It's just Brownsville doesn't have plastic bags. So when sorry, I got distracted. Something about
I'll come back to that one in just a second.
So what we could have done is we could have said, hey, let's go ahead and just transition out of, we get rid of the fee because it's not a ban. That's what the governor or the state of Texas was going to against Brownsville for. But let's transition again back to that. Hey, let's keep using those bags if we have them. Like I said, you go to the store, and when you return with these bags, I know that at Whole Foods that I've been around in different states, in different parts of the country, because when we travel, we like to go to Whole Foods because we like their food in the containers. I know that in some Whole Foods, they'll say, if you brought your own bags, we'll take 10 cents for every bag you bring. We take 10 cents off of your bill.
Yeah.
We could have easily done that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. The comment from David Lee Torino: what's with the cheap shots? We give you respect. I feel you are playing politician, speaking only what you think everyone should hear. Be open and the truth only, so we can fact check you as well. I don't recall. Was there a cheap shot given?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm speaking honestly, David. I'm speaking as openly as possible. I'm just stating things the way I see them, but I don't think I've given any cheap shots.
No, yeah, I don't think I heard any of that. Chuck Nelson, good point. Lumber is so expensive. Wood right now is freaking crazy high.
Yeah,
I could imagine. The paper sacks, paper bags may not be a possible thing to do right now.
Right. And that's
crazy.
And you're absolutely right that those costs, cost of commodities fluctuate, and so we have to keep track of that. But you mentioned it, man. He's like, is there something that we could have done? Kind of found that middle ground. Well, maybe if the paper sacks got too expensive, well then break out your 5,000 plastic bags that you have in your pantry and start
Right.
using them. It's really just, it's a matter of what's important to us. What is not just convenient but important to us. And the fact of the matter is the city of Brownsville has is the only city in the Rio Grande Valley that has its own like dump. And eventually we may run out of space for that dump. But you know what? For every plastic bag or every tire or every, I don't know, whatever else is plastic that we use that we're not putting into our dump, it's more recycle, more things we recycle, the better off that we will be. And it's good for our environment. And see, and I will say this, Manny, that people think I'm like some awful, terrible person who is, trust me, I love the environment. I love recycling and I like clean resacas. And I think trails are fun and they're good to have. I'm not like this trail Nazi that, I hate trails and trails are a bad investment. No, they're a great investment for tourism as well. How are we using them for tourism though? Are we really marketing ourselves in that way? Look at our resacas. Do you know how many people have look at Austin, Lake Austin and Lake Travis, but just Lake Austin. How many people are kayaking Lake Austin in a given day? A ton of people.
Yep.
A ton. They're boating, they're kayaking, they're paddle boarding. How many people are using our resacas on a given day?
I don't think anybody want to be in there.
Why? Why not? Is it because they're filth? And if so, why aren't we cleaning them so that people will use them and come to use them? Is it because they're not accessible? Then why aren't we spending money on plataformas or decks or what do we call them? Docks?
Docks,
to be able to carry my kayak and jump into the water and let's go.
Yep.
It's all about kayak with little duckies right next to me.
Making these things available, and then it's all about marketing these things.
That's
and
right.
Drawing a crowd.
Something you don't have, because then what you do is then you bring people into town and they're like, wait, this is what I saw in the video?
Yep.
That place stinks. That's what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going to go a little bit more here in the interest of time. I know that you don't have, we're not doing a 3-hour show, don't worry.
No.
But I know in the interest of time, I know you don't have a whole lot of time.
He's saying, I hope you're not getting sponsored. No, I'm not getting sponsored. See, why does it have to be that way? Why is it when I say, hey, recycling's fun, somehow I'm being sponsored by somebody who sells recyclable products? If I said recycling is terrible and paper bags are awful and let's stick with the plastic bags, then it's Jessica hates the environment and she wants bags flying around everywhere and birds and turtles eating bags. It's a no-win. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it like it. It's a no-win, guys. So
yeah, yes. that's a little pushing it there. Betty Rose says you had me at plants. That's what gets me outside, seeing butterflies, ladybugs, dragonflies, and more. But recycling is something I use to plant with. Plastic bags and trash needs to go.
Yeah. I love plants. Plants is, that is my business. That is my hobby. We have beautiful, beautiful plants. Just like I said, flora and fauna here. And yet we can't get the city to trim the Johnson grass. It's overgrowing everywhere. Gosh, we can do such beautiful things with our landscaping to where people come and say, wow, look at the beauty here. Look at the beauty. Look at these, a beautiful park is the one over on Bernard with the duck park. But there's hardly any parking there.
Yeah.
There's hardly parking to that. So these are the things that the city of Brownsville, as your commissioner, I say, hey, let's as a department, what is planning and zoning doing, and public works and the health department, what are they doing to make this city much more open to the tourism and welcoming to even just the everyday person who lives down the street. And it shouldn't cost us a lot of money. Do you know how many Eagle Scouts everybody are out there looking for projects? Or Scouts who want to be Eagle Scouts looking for projects to beautify or to do something out in nature? So those are all ideas that I come to the table with. If anyone wants to borrow them, they're completely welcome to borrow them. But I'm saying it. There's, like I said, there's a ton of ideas that I think that we could use within our city that they're not going to cost an arm and a leg, so that we can still focus our funds, our budget, into getting our roads fixed, into getting our alleys cleaned up, The
So
start
having said that, how do you reconcile with now Elon Musk? Here's $10 million to beautify downtown Brownsville. Do you see that? Are you with the crowd that it's somewhat of a conspiracy and somebody's pocketing money, or only certain things are getting fixed? Or do you see this as a chance to, hey, you know what? We got a chance to. I know it's not a lot of money in a city like this size. It's going to disappear quick if you don't do it right.
Right. There's two ways I look at that. And when you say it's a conspiracy, or people are saying it's going to line someone's pockets, they're not saying that because they just woke up yesterday and all of a sudden some put that idea in their head. People are saying that because it's happened before. It's like they say, I've been burned before, so I'm sorry that I think these things. If someone says, I'm not going to call them a conspiracy theorist, because it's been done before.
But it hasn't been done with the likes of someone global like Mr. Elon Musk.
True, but it's like saying, well, you know what? The guy has robbed banks, but now he's my neighbor. You're still going to be a little worried about it. Like, well, I mean, let's say you're in a wealthy.
Okay.
Maybe it's a bad analogy. Either way, it doesn't matter. People have been burned before, and it is what it is. It's like saying, hey, you know what? I had a boyfriend, and he was a real jerk, and he had black hair. Well, you know what? I don't care if the guy has now red hair or is blonde. I'm still going to have I'm going to be apprehensive when a guy goes like that, whatever his hair color was. So anyway, so that's that. I've never had a boyfriend hit me or anything like that. So no, but please, no rumors. So that's a conspiracy that I will let people have and enjoy because they've been burned before. 2, I think that within any investment, here's my take. And I've learned this from my husband. I can give you, Manny, $10. And you can either go take those $10 and literally blow them away. Boom. I went and bought myself a t-shirt. You have no more $10, right? You're done. With the $10 are gone. They came, they got your t-shirt, and they're gone. Or we could take those $10 and Manny could say, you know what? With these $10, I'm going to go buy, simple. I'm going to go buy an apple for $1, or 5 apples for $1. Then I'm going to sell those 5 apples for $2. Now you've made $1. Plus, you still have your $1 of initial investment because you made $2. Hopefully, this math is not too complicated. Point is, the city of Brownsville has the ability to manage that money. If Elon Musk says, I would like that money to be spent on revitalizing Brownsville, then I say yes. Go ahead and revitalize. Let's help as many people as possible. We can turn those into no interest or very low interest loans so that people can revitalize their facades of their buildings or open businesses. You pay that loan back with minimal interest. Guess what? We won't be running out of that money anytime soon. We'll keep it circulating and growing and investing within itself. That is the sign of true intelligence when it comes to investments. Now, if we have a commission who is going to say, and I don't know that I'm not saying this is a fact, but if the commission says, okay, here's $10 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $500,000, you get 250,000, you get 1,000, boom, go fix your places. And we're just hoping that it works out.
Yep.
Our money's gone, and let's just pray that these businesses succeed. Let's pray that these people who own these buildings do what is needed to get businesses into their buildings. Or we could say, hey, we're going to loan it out, but we're going to kind of like keep it reinvesting it back and forth. That way, the people who get it are not just doing it to get free money. They're using it as an opportunity to do something of which they have skin in the game, and will have to pay this money. And the skin is that they have to pay this money back.
You're right. Well said. A couple more things before you go.
Sure.
The district is getting $185 million. School district.
Mm-hmm.
And there is word that the directors need to be hired, the administrative staff needs to be hired to handle all that paperwork. Your thoughts on this topic there?
I used to be a teacher, Manny, 7th grade. I mean, I taught every level really, but primarily was middle school and high school. And the one complaint that teachers have, and they will all say it, and I hope my fellow teachers are out there listening because I understand. They'll say, when money comes, it all gets stuck at the top. And then we'll get $200, $100 here. We might get a couple of computers. Yeah. We got millions and millions, and it gets stuck at the top. That's what happens. So you said it yourself. If this money is coming, wherever this money is coming from, and if there's already talk about hiring administrators and people who are going to handle this, and how is this money going to be spent, it's literally already getting stuck at the top.
Yeah.
Sad.
This is true. One last thing I wanted to hit you with here. Well, I think in the interest of time, give us your why should somebody call this the elevator talk. You're stuck in an elevator
the elevator
interview.
The elevator
the elevator pitch.
Speech.
Elevator pitch. You're inside the elevator with a possible one of your constituents.
Hi there. Yeah. I'm Jessica. I'm running for City Commissioner District 3. Why are you running? I'm running because the people of the city of Brownsville have been poorly represented. We have a wonderful budget that we could use to help you, help your family, help your neighborhood, support, beautify the city. And instead of it being used for you and our community, it's being used for special interests, for consultants, and for administration. And it's money that is getting stuck up at the top. And my goal as your city commissioner will be sure that I take that budget, and then under my watch, it will be used more for the community rather than for the bureaucracy. And I will do it openly, transparently, because I have no favors to give to anybody, and nobody owes me any favors. But I will work, and I will work for you in the process. That's literally what Jessica wants. Let's work together to make sure that that money, that is our money, is being used for us.
Very well said. So you don't intend on being a yes woman.
You know what, Manny? I'm running for the next 4 years. That's it. I'm not running for 8. I'm not running for 16. I will run for 4 years, for the 4 years, and that's it. So I will say and do what I need to do without concern or without worry that, oh, shoot, if I say something now, that's going to affect my election, my next coming election in the next 4 years. That's not Jessica. Sorry, guys. 4 years. That's what I'm running for. And if people like it and they want to reelect me again and I want to run again, then we'll address it at that point. But in the meantime, I don't have aspirations to be, I'm not thinking forward to the mayor or to county commissioner or to county judge or to nothing. Right here, 4 years, that's it. And I will say what needs to be said.
One step at a time, as they say. Mm-hmm. Ozzy G, your opinion on the recent bike event that the city is hosting?
Manny, fill me in on that bike event because
I'm unfortunately I've been away too long. Yeah. I travel a whole bunch. I don't know what invite. Ozzy, if you want to fill us in real quick while we're here for the last couple of minutes.
My excuse is I'm literally campaigning. So I haven't been on Facebook very much. I haven't been checking out events and things like that.
Yeah. And I was wondering, and I was going to ask you this early on, you know, when as soon as the runoff was announced, or it seemed like after the election, I personally and some others kind of noticed it as well. Not to see you so much on Facebook anymore. So we were kind of wondering, well, is she taking a break or is she just...
I took a small break because right after the campaign, my husband decided to treat the family and myself to a celebration of our anniversary, 27 years, by the way.
Congratulations.
My birthday, May 1st. Well, it was 3 days before it was our anniversary. Then it was my birthday, and then it was Mother's Day. And so he did take us on a little vacation, and we enjoyed it thoroughly. I didn't want to announce the vacation on Facebook because I don't like to announce when I'm out of town.
Of course.
I don't want my house to get broken into. And then I came back, and so what I've been doing is campaigning. You know, here's the thing, everybody. Campaigning is not just a social media thing. There are a lot of people who are not on social media who want to see you as well. And so I try to... that's why I do the shows when I can, but I'm just because you're not seeing me on social media doesn't mean that someone else isn't seeing me face to face somewhere else.
Okay. Ozzy G sent us this little tidbit on the bicycle event.
Okay.
Let's see. Join us tomorrow, Friday, May 28th, for a ride with the city manager. Wheels down at 8:30 a.m. Take a ride on one of Brownsville's new B-cycle bicycles, or hop on one of the MMT's multimodal transport bike fleet. Free event open to the public. This is tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., starting at Dean Porter Park. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, an event promoting what? Biking the trails to help?
The new bikes that we have now, again. So we have these pay-to-use bikes again. Last time they were being stolen, left, thrown in the Resakas, what have you. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm not gonna dog it. It's great if the city manager wants to come out into the public now, and he's seeing the value of that.
Yeah.
More power to him. I've been to some of these events. For the time, unfortunately, they are very low. They're very low attendance, considering how large the city is, and so it's I guess it's good PR, but it'll be very poor. The attendance will be low, and that will be unfortunate.
Yeah, and so people wanted to see him out doing things, and I guess this is his way of maybe.
This is the way to do it, right?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, hopefully they get a turnout and people do participate. We do want that after all. We'll just finish up doing some of the last few comments here. Betty Roll says it's not a dump. It's Brownsville Mountains. But people are trying to grow their own mountains, which bring mosquitoes, rodents, and other dangerous animals. Would be nice to see the city cleaned up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess there's a canal, right? Remember where the Target used to be in Boca Chica?
Yes.
And then right by there, as you're going, I guess, east, at the edge of that where Sally Beauty Supply used to be.
Yes.
Now there's a laundromat. There is a little canal in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked in there once, and it was
disgusting.
Horrible, disgusting. Yeah. Trash, garbage, dead animals. I mean, refrigerators.
Well, let me ask you something, Manny. Suppose that you lived and you backed up to something like that. Who do you expect to clean that? The city or you?
See, I thought it was the city. So I went to my commissioner and I got the response saying, "Oh, that's a county issue. Take it up to the county."
I've had people who have told me that they did the same thing as you and went to the city, and the city said, "That's your job."
Yeah, I beg to differ.
I'm like, really? Like, so you created this and now it's in my backyard, so therefore I'm supposed to clean it up? I mean, come on. So that's the kind of a city customer service that our residents are getting. And that's unfortunate because I don't think that's the case.
I'm pretty sure it's not the case.
Yeah, but that's what they were being told.
David Lee, the owners of downtown companies need to paint and make it inviting to the public and to others. Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Betty Robo, I tried to get Manny to cut the grass at the airport, but he's too busy. The city grass is so high now, and I still haven't seen the mosquito trucks come by. I think they cut the grass there. I'll let you know tomorrow morning because I'm leaving again tomorrow. The new bike with the city manager event. Okay, yes, I got that. Thank you, Ozzy. And Chuck Nelson, wishing you luck on the runoff.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yes, much luck with that. Again, you guys I think you're both capable, and this is difficult, man. You guys are both. I mean, we got some quality people out there right now.
Well, thank you for having me, Manny, and thank you for the questions. I really appreciated them. I hope people got a chance to learn a little bit more about me and where I stand on some of the issues. And we're gonna keep working. And if anybody has any questions, please reach out to me through my Facebook page, personal page. I can send a message to Manny. Manny, I'm sure will get it to me. Not that you're my secretary, Manny, but I know sometimes people try to reach others through different networks. So
sure.
No, I'm here. I mean, I'm here to work for the people of the city of Brownsville. I'm not here to work for any particular group or organization. I'm here to work for the people because when we all pay taxes into the city, then we all deserve to get something. And we have a beautiful city to be extremely proud of. I love my city, and I just want to see it thrive.
Excellent. Again, my door's open. You're welcome anytime you like.
Thank you very much.
Something you want to announce or talk about or push or whatever, just let me know, and we will squeeze you in there whenever you like.
All right, that sounds great. We'll probably have some really exciting announcements and endorsements coming up this weekend.
Awesome. That would be excellent. Jessica Puente Bradshaw, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Manny.
Everyone have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And again, you can review this video later if you couldn't catch it live. And any questions, send them to me. I can get them to Jessica if you like. She is open to that. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for being with us tonight.